the script before. Mental errors and untimely mistakes have cost the Packers dearly. But now there are signs of the ball finally bouncing the Packers' way, daring the folks in Green Bay to once again think the Pack is between two peaks.
Well, there's always that possibility, Vern, but both you and I know, and I think the fans know, the 49ers are the better team of the two. But if they're in their frame of mind that they don't think they have to prove it today, they could be in trouble, because this Green Bay team, for a losing football team, is in a fine frame of mind. They believe they're going in the right direction.
If the attitude for the Packers is okay, then physically, what must they do today to be competitive?
Well, Forrest Gregg and the coaching staff really feel the number one thing they have to do is contain the fine 49er offense. They've got to slow them down. And then secondly, they've got to get their own offense going.
33 degrees as we approach kickoff. 54% humidity. Winds out of the southeast and east at 10 miles per hour. A chance of snow a little later this afternoon. This is the 45th time the two teams have met. San Francisco won the game last year, 31-17. The last time the 49ers played in Green Bay was 1976. Ray Wersching will kick off. Stanley, Fullwood, and Neal are the deep men. Ball taken at the 10. Out to the 30-yard line. Walter Stanley with the return. And the Packers will open up in good shape. Randy Wright comes in as the starting quarterback, and he will face these men on defense for the 49ers. Up front, Pete Kugler, Michael Carter, and Dwayne Board.
Michael Carter is the most talented, but both of those defensive ends play very hard.
Linebackers, McCall, Fonhorst, Michael Walter, and Keena Turner, who's having an all-pro year. And in the McKyer, Griffin, Lott, and Fuller in the defensive secondary.
One of the better secondaries in the NFL.
First and 10 from the 32. Counter play, Jesse Clark jammed up and dropped by Michael Carter, the nose tackle. Michael Carter at 6'2", 290.
Michael Carter, the left side of your screen, number 95, working on Cannon. He jumps around. Great quickness, comes in behind the offensive tackle pole and puts him down for minus yardage. And this is what Green Bay can't afford to do against the 49er defense. Get in the long yardage situation after that first down.
Second down and 14. And the Packers do not open with Brent Fullwood in the backfield. They've got Paul Ott-Caruth starting as the tailback because of the injury to Fullwood and Kenneth Davis. And Jesse Clark is the fullback. Here's the shotgun, and Randy Wright steps up, overthrows his intended receiver. It'll be 3rd and 14. Packer offense with Randy Wright at quarterback. Now in his 4th year, joined by Paul Ott-Caruth and Jesse Clark. And the wide receivers are Frankie Neal replacing Philip Epps, who's injured, and Walter Stanley. Epps might play a little bit today.
Walter Stanley is the kind of receiver that can take the short pass and put it in the end zone. Good quickness.
Rutgers Moran, Mark Cannon, Ron Hallstrom, Keith Euchre back off the injured list today, and Ed West, the tight end.
Ron Hallstrom is having an all-pro caliber year at the right guard position.
3rd and 14. That's Pasquette in motion, a 3 wide receiver set. Blitz. Wright dropped. Fumble. Play was down. And it'll be 4th down. Ronnie Lott jumped on the ball, but the play had been whistled down.
Charles Haley, number 94, right here in the middle, is not picked up as he comes through the gap. There's no one in position in this protection to pick him up. Both guards and center are covered. The running back, Jesse, gets over there. Clark, 33, but not in time.
That brings on Don Bracken, and Dana McLemore is back at the 35 to return the punt. McLemore re-signed by the 49ers in October. That's an excellent punt. But room to return, and a flag comes flying. McLemore to the 49, and there is a flag on the play.
This is exactly what Bill Walsh wanted to do, is to get the good field position. He says it's the defense's responsibility to win this ball game today because Green Bay has not been real strong on offense. Shut them down. Our own offense, move the ball out to the 50, and if we can't get it in the end zone or get the field goal, let's punt it and get the good field position.
Defensive holding call. Now, was the ball in flight? It was against the 49ers. Fred Wyatt is the referee as Bill Walsh, Steve Young look on. And there is Forrest Gregg. Option resting with Green Bay now, and Wyatt trying to get a decision out of them. That's Al Demis. It might be a first down. Here's the call.
Holding number 22 before the kick. First down.
Before the kick was the key.
Before the kick. All right. That's the key. First down.
Tim McKyer is the guilty party, and that'll be a first down, Green Bay. That won't enhance the pleasure with which Mr. Walsh approaches the opening of the game.
And then, you know, the 49ers come in here, the 7th least penalized team, competing against the most penalized team in football. They don't want to turn that around today.
Penalties have been driving the Green Bay Packers nuts this year. First down at the 30. Couldn't do much with their first series. See what happens now. Stanley in motion. Play fake. White deep across the middle into triple coverage. Caught, made. Fumble.
It's 49ers ball. Yeah, it's 49ers ball.
49ers recover. Jeff Fuller, strong safety, falls on it.
You'll recognize Frankie Neal will be coming in motion from the left side of your screen. Play action pass to freeze the linebackers inside. Steps back. Now the receiver will appear to the left of your screen. Here he comes. Catches the ball. Now get it tucked away, young man. No, it's still up around his chest. You've got to get that ball back under that.
Brings up an interesting point, Dick. The 49ers are last in the league in percentage of fumbles recovered.
28%.
Into the flat. Roger Craig bobbles the ball, has it out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
You mentioned that, Vern. The 49ers have only recovered 28% of the balls that have been on the ground from a defensive standpoint. And if their luck changes and they start getting the turnovers, because many times that's just the bounce of a ball, that could also put them back into the category of the offense that they had when they were Super Bowl champions.
And to go along with that, it's amazing for a 9-2 team, that 28% recovery factor. They come into this game only +1 in turnovers for the year.
Last year they were +20.
Second down and 7. Roger Craig gets by the tackle of Tim Harris. Fumble! I think the 49ers got it back.
Now to turn that around, Vern, the 49ers lead the league in recovering their own fumbles offensively.
No fumble.
You can tell it's a little cold out there right now, and they've got to play and warm up so they can really lock up on that football. Take a look in the middle of your screen. Oop, a headshot right there. That many times could be a penalty call. The ball's in the middle of the screen bouncing around. Dave Brown, 32, going after it. Can't get to it.
Well, the rule was down by contact, so there was no fumble.
Okay.
3rd and 8. Montana back into the flat. Roger Craig almost had his head taken off at the 26-yard line. First down, 49ers. Check this Packer defense now. Alfonso Carricker, Ross Browner, and Robert Brown are the front three.
Ross Browner has not played the nose guard position prior years, Vern. This is his first shot.
Kind of tall for that spot. John Anderson, Brian Noble, Holland, and Harris are the linebackers.
Harris is a big outside backer.
Lee Brown, Stills, and Murphy, the defensive secondary. 1st and 10, 49ers. Montana, left side, caught by the tight end, John Frank, who's coming off a career-best game. It's Ron Heller instead. Number 89 instead of 86. 49er offense with Montana at quarterback. Tom Rathman, who's been a key figure in their success this year. Roger Craig in the backfield. Clark opens the game for Mike Wilson at a wide receiver spot. And Jerry Rice, who is on a tear.
The Packers are going to have to slow that group down to be effective. That's
Harris, Sapulu, Cross, Cully, Barton, and John Frank. 2nd and 1. Roger Craig.
He keeps those legs going. Good high knee action. Pumps them. A lot of power. And, you know, he's not a great big back at 224 pounds anymore. You know, you're not considered a big back at that size.
What makes his running style distinctive?
Well, I think the high knee action, the pumping high knee action, and he's able to run through contact. Good balance. He can ricochet off. He's not one of these guys that makes you miss a lot, but he can run through that contact.
See the early scores rolling in. First down 10. Play fake. Montana throws it short. Fumble. Scramble. Green Bay.
All Right now, coming from right here, you'll notice there'll be play action, and he'll come across, working underneath the linebackers on that play action. Johnny Holland, number 50, wraps him up. He pulls out of it. There goes the ball, drops out underneath the elbow. You get that elbow up, Vern, and away from the body, your chances of dropping that ball out are much greater.
Timothy Harris got it, his 5th fumble recovery of the season. 1st and 10, Green Bay. They have not been able to move on 2 possessions. No score. Pitch out, Paul Ott Caruth to the 16-yard line. Tackle made by Jim Fonhorst, number 55 for the 49ers. These 2 running backs for Green Bay, between the 2 of them for the year, have 132 yards because Fullwood and Davis are both out, and Caruth getting a start at halfback today, but only 70 yards for the season.
He was the most valuable player in the Senior Bowl in 1986 in an all-star game with other good football players, so you know he's a player.
2nd and 6. Paul Ott Caruth for a couple. Running backs are nicked and hobbled for the Packers. Kenneth Davis on the inactive list with an ankle injury, and Brent Fullwood might play today.
I think he'll play. There's a big difference between injury and pain in the National Football League. Sometimes it takes a number 1 pick, a rookie running back, a little while to figure that out, because when you are that caliber in college, they tend to baby you just a little bit.
Shotgun on 3rd and 4. Oh, boy, Keena Turner really popped Walter Stanley.
Hello. Walter Stanley, number 87, coming across the middle. Keena Turner gave him just a little tap. Center of your screen. Here he comes right underneath, being cleared out, coming right down the zone. Watch this. Boom. Boy, does that hurt. That can put you out for a few plays.
Stanley is still down. Medical staff is tending to him, and timeout has been taken.
Sauvignon Blanc, Zinfandel, Cabernet Sauvignon. To all those who are coming home, and those we come home to, from Ernest and Julio Gallo, all the best.
On the Packers sideline, Walter Stanley still a little wobbly, but at least on his feet. Had to be helped off the field after that hit from Keena Turner. Now Don Bracken on to punt. Dana McElmore waits for it, and the 49ers are going to come out of this again with good field position.
That's a low punt.
John Taylor grabs it at the 45, and Taylor counterpunches down to the 36-yard line. So the 49ers, for their 2nd possession, come out of this with terrific field position. A 26-yard punt for Don Bracken, and 9 on the return. 9:46 to go, scoreless first quarter. Jerry Rice hasn't caught a pass yet, but he will before the day's out, barring something totally out of the ordinary. And Dick, they really employ him in a variety of ways.
Bill Walsh moves the talented guys he has around, so he can't zero in. On the left side of your screen, you see the wingback position. Right side of your screen, you see the wide out position. In the middle of your screen, you see him in a slot position. Tough to know where he's going to be.
Right now, he's at a wide right position. They hand it off to Tom Rathman, who gets a terrific block and then doesn't get much yardage.
Tom Rathman is a throwback to the old fullback. Tommy is, 6'1", 232. He'll get after you as a blocker. Bill says that he can block the better football players in the National Football League as well, not just the average guy. He can block the good guys.
Bill Walsh says that the change of Rathman to fullback, the insertion of him there and putting Roger Craig at the tailback spot, has had a major impact on this team.
Plus, you'll see Roger Craig at the fullback position as well.
Now this is Craig in motion. No score. Montana, Dwight Clark. That's his 502nd career catch. He and Art Monk were tied going into the game at 501 each.
Here's Dwight Clark coming across the middle. They put the back in motion. Roger Craig, 33, going in motion to draw the defense to the strong side of the formation. Less help, weak side now. There he is taking the slant pattern. One of the very favorite patterns of the 49er offense.
This will be the last year for Dwight Clark. Remember talking to him in August, he didn't think he would even make the team because of injuries. Roger Craig can't break the tackle. Brian Noble, who's having a terrific year, the linebacker.
Brian Noble ran through as the guards pulled. If you can do that, sometimes you get pecked up by the backside guard, but Brian Noble, number 91, here he is. He runs through. Many times the backside guard will pick him up. In this case, it didn't happen. Follow Brian Noble, 91. See the guard block down? Here, he misses him. The tackle doesn't get to him. Bubba's got to get him down. See, now, if Bubba was about 20 pounds lighter, he might have got him down.
That crossed my mind, and I'm sure it crossed the 49er coaching staff.
They've had a weight problem struggle with that guy.
Second down and 12. No score, first quarter. Montana, Dwight Clark, short of the first down at the 16-yard line.
Bill does such a great job of varying his formations, then using little. That's a very high efficiency pattern. He's going to complete that 75-80% of the time. Maybe not to Clark, but to the back swing or the back through. Very efficient type pass offense.
Another typical Montana start.
He's unbelievable. This
He
guy
is having probably his best season.
Well, especially mentally. He's more into the technical sides of the game now than he's ever been.
3rd and 1. Backs are split. Craig left, Rathman to the right. Double tight end set. And there's Rice in the wingback spot.
Play action
Play
pass.
back. Looking for Rice. They settle short for Rathman. And Rathman has a 1st and goal at the 6-yard line.
Last week, you'll remember that they used Rice in the wingback position and then went in motion and threw him a pass. This time it's play action, and they throw it to Rathman. Here's Rice coming in motion. He'll come out. Now he'll run out into the flat. Tommy Rathman, number 44, play action fake to Craig. You have to acknowledge the run in that short yard situation. There he is. Johnny Holland, number 15, sucked up, read and run. First down, move the chains.
1st and goal for the San Francisco 49ers.
Bill is great at throwing the ball in this situation right here.
Guess what? Rathman, touchdown, San Francisco. And Montana's 28th touchdown pass of 1987.
He is unbelievable. End zone shot. You'll see what the play action fake does in this case to freezing the linebackers inside. Follow Joe as he fakes. Now look at Noble, 91, was successful last time in crashing. Not this time. It was a pass all the way, touchdown.
John Anderson with the responsibility defensively. It went over him, and Joe Montana has tied a personal best, 28 touchdowns in a season. And he's got 3 games and 3 quarters remaining. Wersching's kick is up and good.
Here's Rathman coming out of the backfield. Tommy Rathman, 44. Craig will cross the formation, faking sweep to the outside. Here he comes, slips underneath the linebacker who is reading run. John Anderson, 59, tries to make the play, can't get there.
Seven 0 on Joe Montana's 28th touchdown pass of the season.
You know what's remarkable? In his career, every 12th completed pass is a touchdown pass. There's only one guy that I've ever broken down in this league that is better, and that's Marino at 1 and 9.
Brent Fullwood stopped at the 23-yard line. Bill Walsh wanted field position. He has had it through the first quarter, as they have started at midfield both times, and last time went 36 yards on 6 plays and got the touchdown toss to Tom Rathman. 7-0 with 6:56 to go, first quarter. Philip Epps makes his first appearance in the ball game now at a wide receiver spot, and Walter Stanley is back in the lineup for Green Bay after the injury. 1st and 10, Packers trailing by 7. Ball out, Caruth tries the toss right and gets it out to the 27-yard line. Well, he ought to be wearing a smile. 8 for 8 so far.
And, you know, really nothing that far downfield, all high percentage passes. And Bill Walsh's offense has always been known for the efficiency. Right now, for example, excluding the strike, excluding the strike, they score a touchdown. I have it here at every 20 Yeah, every 21 plays. That's the third best in the NFL. So, I mean, that's just outstanding.
Pete Kugler is the injured player for the 49ers. He's been hampered by injuries this year. Didn't start last week, as a matter of fact.
Top left of your screen, Pete Kugler, number 57, the left-hand corner. The tight end will block down on him. Right there, locking him up, both guard and tackle. Euchre and Hallstrom pulling out. He's working inside out of the play, just like he ought to, trying to defeat that block. And the offensive lineman, Cannon, number 58, rolls up behind his legs, getting him from the backside.
Looks like the injury is to the right knee for Pete Kugler.
He came in here with a left knee injury problem and didn't start versus Cleveland.
Giants have jumped on top of Philadelphia. How about this score? Atlanta 2-9 in Dallas. Scott Campbell with a touchdown pass to Floyd Dixon, and Robert Moore with a 20-yard fumble return. And the Falcons have jumped on the troubled Dallas Cowboys 14-0. Houston over San Diego 7-0. Amidst rumors flying around about Jerry Glanville's spot with the Oilers. Pittsburgh over Seattle early. Rams have come back to notch Detroit at 3-3. And while we have a timeout, let's go back to Brent Musburger and get more on that Dallas-Atlanta game.
Well, Vern, here's how it occurred. Atlanta struck first on a pass play. Then they kicked off. A jarring tackle. The ball comes free, and it is scooped up by Robert Moore, who dashes in. It is now 14-0 Atlanta. Back to Vern.
And that game is being played before about 45,000 unhappy fans at Texas Stadium. Meanwhile, our score is 7-0. Cowboys are in the playoff picture. Here's the wild card scramble going into action today, with New Orleans and Minnesota leading the wild card fight. Then Philadelphia, Dallas, and St. Louis still mathematically alive. And Green Bay, as far as that goes, is a mathematic shot at it.
But if New Orleans wins today and Philadelphia and St. Louis lose, they're automatically in the playoffs.
Right. For the first time.
For the first time ever.
Kugler on the bench. Jeff Stover has taken his place. 2nd down and 7. 7-0 ball game. Right to throw. Blitz is on. Sack again.
And this is something the 49ers have not really been doing, sacking the quarterback.
14 sacks in 8 regular games. That's not counting the strike games. That's been a problem, the pass pressure.
You're going to see the defensive line stunt right there in the middle of the screen. Pass, here they go. See the tackle working around the nose guard? Here comes a linebacker, 55, Jim Farnhorst, up inside the seam. He flushes him up inside, and there's Mr. Haley, 94, getting his 4th sack on the year.
Well, more problems for the Packers. The 49ers are #1 in the league in yielding 3rd down first downs. In defensing 3rd downs, they're tops in the league.
And that's more important than actually converting
3rd down
situations.
Flag is down. Wright's pass is caught short of the first down at the 31 if it stands. Keith Pasquette made the catch.
I think the 49ers were offside. I'm not too sure. Let's see. We're going to an offensive lineman move.
Illegal motion.
Offensive lineman moved, I guess.
Jeff Fuller made the tackle on the last play. Option resting now with the 49ers, and it was not enough for the first down.
They'll refuse it.
Illegal motion. Number 75 declined. 4th down.
Penalty on Ken Rutgers, or the infraction on Ken Rutgers. So the punting unit will come on again and again. The 49ers should come out of this in pretty good shape.
Those penalties are adding up already. Green Bay comes into the game averaging 10 penalties a game. 9.7. Well, you can't have 0.7 of a penalty in one game, so it rounds out to be 10 penalties a ball game. Far too many.
Dana McLemore is back to return Don Bracken's punt. He's been inconsistent thus far.
There's a good punt. Nice punt.
McLemore at the 22. Flag is down, and McLemore is down at the 35. Stop made by Clayton Wisehoon, who played so many years with the New England Patriots and was oft injured there. That's a 47-yard punt and 13 on the return, but chances are we're going to get one of those ubiquitous illegal block above the back. Ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous.
Yeah, that's the word for the week.
Don't say things like that to a PE major. You embarrass me when you come up with
throw
words
one
like
of those
that.
polysyllabic things in there every once in a while.
Now you give me another one.
Illegal block in the back. Number 24.
Give me that word again.
Ubiquitous.
I can't even spell it
Well,
or pronounce it.
You find it at the end of the dictionary behind omniscient, huh?
That wasn't in the dictionary at Calistoga, I'll tell you.
Someday we're going to get through a game without one of those flags. It isn't going to happen today. .5:15 to go first quarter. That man's team leading by 7. Pete Kugler with a sprained knee and questionable whether or not he will be back in the game. Forrest Gregg talks with his troops, and I'm not sure what the delay is right now, but there is one. Bill Walsh, we were in his suite yesterday at the hotel, and interesting, man came up with a package, knocked on the door and delivered it to him, and opened the door and said, "You're Bill Walsh, coach, right?" And the guy said, "Yes." He said, "I'm Bill Walsh, limo driver."
Hey, there's more to that story we can tell a little later.
So Bill Walsh met Bill Walsh.
And was that guy excited about meeting Bill Walsh?
Which Bill Walsh?
Yeah.
Montana, short. And Roger Craig makes the catch. Now, here's the interesting follow-up. You talked to Bill today and said, what was in the package?
It was a combination scarf mitten product that was sent to him by Al Davis's son, Mark, who's in the marketing business for sporting goods. And it sent it to him. He's supposed to have it on here today, but evidently it's not cold enough for him.
Al Davis doesn't miss a trick.
No. He's probably got a percentage of the business.
I'm sure he does. 4:45 to go first quarter. 2nd and 11. Montana finds Jerry Rice out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Mark Lee makes the tackle, and for Rice, that's 47 catches for the season, and 14 have gone for touchdowns.
Okay.
He is on a streak now.
You know what goes on in the pits? The nose guard right here, Jerry Boreski, number 61, was just pushed over there by 91 Noble, moving him over there. He got in the gap. He's fighting his way up inside. Now he's blocked by 3 different people. Oh, the problems of being a nose guard.
3rd and 4, 49ers. Blitz coming. Montana. First down, 49ers at the 38. The leading ball carrier last week, and Walsh arguing about something with the headset off, and Montana had 43 yards on 4 carries Sunday night and gets the first down here.
Montana in the middle of your screen did a great job last week. Here he is. Just follow him in action now. He goes back. The defense does a good job of taking the pattern away. Protection breaks down because he had to hold the football. Yes, he has time right now to throw it. Everybody is covered. No place to go. He jumps up inside the pocket. Now he's a ball carrier. He did a super job of this last week against Cleveland.
1st and 10, 49ers. Clock shows 3:48 to go first quarter. 7-0. San Francisco leads. Blitz coming again. Left side for Roger Craig. Skirts the sidelines and has another first down. Timothy Harris with the tackle. Redskins are playing at St. Louis. Let's find out what's happening. Here's Brett Musburger.
Well, Vern, as you know, Jay Schrader back at quarterback, and he strikes first. 84 yards to Clark. Incidentally, this is the longest non-strike scoring play of the season in the NFL. Gary Clark in 7-0, Skins with the lead, and back to Vern.
All right, Brad, and you can see the empty seats in that Cardinal Stadium in St. Louis. They are not drawing well at all, about 26,000 per game. Amidst the rumors of a move. Here's Rathman across midfield to the 49-yard line. Mark Murphy, number 37, makes the stop.
You know, people don't realize how good a defensive football team the Green Bay team is. They're number 2 in the league in yards per touchdown, forcing a team to run 170 yards for giving up a score. Number 1 is the 49ers at 235, and plays per touchdown. They're forcing you to run 38 plays before you score. Give these guys credit. They're a better defense than people really realize.
Had some problems in the second half, and right now they trail 7-0. 3:05 to go first quarter. They're going deep for Rice, and what a pattern he ran. He came back toward the middle, then cut back to his left and got wide open, and now is complaining about a possible head tackle.
Earlier we showed you that they try to get the ball to Rice in varied positions. Here he is in the slot. He'll work down and run the out pattern. He'll come down here and come underneath. Straight drop back pass, getting back there nicely. Now see, he holds the corner up in bump and run position. That puts him on the safety man to man. Now he's working the out pattern. Move Rice around to get him the football.
And did you see Mark Lee bite on the post move?
Oh, he did. That's where he scored last week in the same formation, going to the post.
1st and 10. Roger Craig skips to the outside and finds a little bit of breathing space down to the 25-yard line. Joe Montana perfect today and is now on a streak, including last week, of 17 consecutive pass completions.
The 49ers are #1 in the NFL, excluding the strike, at 65.2% completion ratio. Here he is 100%. Can't do it any better.
One more completion and he'll tie his personal high of 18 in a row. 2:20 to go, first quarter. On the hip. That's 18 in a row, and John Frank fumbles it. And finally, Mark Murphy comes up with it at the 5.
What you're going to see, a full flow play to the left. Full flow. They're going to pull the guards. They're going to run the fake the sweep. The guards are going to go. Here they are. The backs are going. He's going to come out with the football, and the tight end comes across the action. 86, John Frank. Really tough the defense is. That's the second fumble by John Frank. Here he is underneath the crowd. There he is. He throws it out to him just like you draw it on the blackboard. Now get it tucked away. Good tackling. Knocks it out with a helmet. If you're going to turn the ball over, turn it over down here.
Mark Murphy. Looks like he's been in some movies with Schwarzenegger. Randy Wright. Good pass. Walter Stanley with the catch. Randy Wright now 3 of 5. A year ago in Milwaukee had a big game against the 49ers with 328 yards, but 2 of those 3 interceptions were returned for touchdowns and cost the Packers the victory.
You know, so many people evaluate a quarterback having a great game throwing over 300 yards. In the league, you lose about 48% of the time, or 52% of the time.
1st and 10. Jesse Clark tries to break through and gets it to the 20.
The Green Bay wants to establish that running game, get it going. See, if you could run the football against the 49ers, you can keep the offense on the bench. And we've already seen how well they move the ball. They've got to get that running game going.
That's the problem. Can you run the football against the 49ers?
Hey, it's not simple, but they're 9th in the league, giving up 106 yards. That's excluding the strike.
2nd and 7, final minute, first quarter, 7-0, and the 49ers have hurt themselves with 2 fumbles. Right into the flat. Brent Fullwood making his first appearance of the game. It'll be 3rd down. Well, hard to believe it, but basketball season is upon us. And next week on CBS, a doubleheader for you. We'll kick off our NCAA coverage with a classic matchup. Louisville and Denny Crum against Eddie Sutton in Kentucky. And what a win for Kentucky yesterday as they beat Indiana in overtime. That's at 1:30 Eastern. And then the NBA tips off on CBS with the Chicago Bulls hosting Houston. And what a start for Doug Collins and the Chicago Bulls. 4 wide receivers in on 3rd and 8. Blitz. Another sack. No, he was in the grasp of. That's a good call. Keena Turner wrapped him up. And Fred Wyatt called it.
As you take a look at this from the end zone, the 49ers, the Green Bay Packers are out of people to pick this guy up coming right now. Here comes Keenan. He tries to pick him up, and he hurdles right over the top of him. A real good job. You never want to try to cut a gifted athlete. You've got to get him up high underneath that chin.
That's the end of the first quarter. Forrest Gregg's team trails by 7, and they're getting ready to punt the ball.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Brewing Company, sole sponsor of the U.S. Olympic Training Centers. Subaru and the new Subaru XT6, the Sport Magazine Super Bowl MVP Award. And by Northwest Airlines, the airline that serves over 220 cities and 20 countries on 3 continents.
Don Bracken on the punt as we open quarter number 2. Vern Lundquist and Dick Vermeil here at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
You know, Don Bracken, talking with him yesterday, he says, you know, if I was kicking somewhere in the warm weather, I think I could average about 2 yards more a punt, because this ball gets so hard as it gets cold. It's really tough to get the good punt.
McLemore waits for it at the 42. Tom Homo was putting a little pressure on, and
Get up there and get the ball.
McLemore steps away from it. But again, Dick, the field position for the 49ers is outstanding.
Here they are on the 47-yard line, ready to go to war with, 53-yard field. That's a short field to play on.
On the third down play, you'll recall that Randy Wright, just before the break, went back and watched Keena Turner leap over Jesse Clark.
You should never take on a gifted athlete by trying to cut him down. That's only a change-up move. See the helmet go down? This guy looks like a high hurdler going over the top of that guy. Butt him up underneath the chin. If you catch him when he's in the air like that, you'll flip him right on his tail.
Roger Craig up the middle. And Joe Montana working on oh, here's a flag. And it's going to go against the Packers.
Now,
Giants still lead Philadelphia 7-0.
dumb penalties. Dumb penalties.
Personal foul, number 29.
Called on
Stills.
Ken Stills.
That's stupid. You're having a hard enough time beating him with 11 people. But don't give the officials the opportunity to help you.
Well, Forrest Gregg is really unhappy about the penalty circumstance. Atlanta now leading Dallas 14-3 and Washington over St. Louis. Other scores, but just to get back to that point, Forrest Gregg is convinced that because of Charles Martin's tackle of Jim McMahon a year ago, the Packers are under the spotlight.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this, if I were Stills, I wouldn't walk off the sideline next to that guy. He's been known to get upset.
Play fake.
Great
19
catch.
in a row. Great catch by John Taylor. And that is 19 passes in succession for Joe Montana. That is a personal high. The league record in the back of your mind is Kenny Anderson.
They're excited about this Delaware straight kid. Low angle now coming from the right side of your screen. Play action pass. Fake the trap up inside. Freezes Tim Harris 97. He can't get out underneath the pass. There he is. Look at him reach for that. I'll tell you, that takes a lot of guts to go in there like that and reach for it. A lot of guys will short arm that ball.
Taylor with the catch. That's his 4th of the season. And Montana now 19 consecutive passes, 14 of 14 in this game.
I think when he runs over the sideline after hitting 19 in a row, as a coach, you say, nice going. Don't say anything else.
After further review, the play stands. First down.
They did look at on the instant replay, George Slatke of
Why would they even look at it?
I don't know.
Huh?
And Frank Susi is the communicator today for the NFL, but the play stands. First down. 49ers. Roger Craig tries to get blocks from Frank and Colley. Does, out of bounds at the 14. Joe Montana now 1 pass away from tying the league record for successive completions. And that is spread over the last 2 games. He hit his last 5 Sunday night against Cleveland, and he's 14 of 14 today. I know he doesn't know that or isn't aware of it, and it's not on his mind, but it's pretty impressive.
Oh. And the ball hasn't been thrown very far downfield. It's just out there in the high percentage stuff.
2nd down and 2.
Watch out, play action.
Exactly. Nope, they pitch it. Craig has to cut back inside and gets the first down as he is wrestled down at the 12-yard line by Johnny Holland, the outstanding rookie linebacker, number 50 out of Texas A&M.
Tim Harris, number 97, the outside linebacker, here will be to the left side of your screen, does a real nice job of taking on Rathman, number 44. See, the toss is out there. Now he plays it real well. See, turns him back up inside. He slips on the turf where he'd have made the play, forces him back up into the enemy defense, but still good outside linebacker play.
13:15 to go, first half. 7-0 49ers, threatening again with the first down. Montana has now tied the record. And he finds Roger Craig at the 9-yard line.
Did you notice that, excuse me, Vern, did you notice that Roger Craig that time came out of the fullback position? They just move him up. Bill is great at moving a guy around to help him get the ball. What's it?
20 consecutive completions ties the NFL record held by Kenny Anderson. He set it against the Houston Oilers. So one more, and Montana's in the record book by himself.
And guess who coached Kenny Anderson? Bill Walsh.
That's right. At Cincinnati.
Audible.
Montana pumps, pulls up.
That's it. Get on the ground.
That'll be short of the first down as Joe is down at the 4-yard line. Tackle made by Timothy Harris, number 97.
He audible and moved the formation to a strong formation to the right, trying to get the defense to move over, the secondary to compensate over to the 3-receiver side, and then throw the slant backside.
Giants continue to lead Philly 7-0 in Giant Stadium, and 14-3 Atlanta over the Cowboys. Washington leads by 10 over St. Louis. Cincinnati over Kansas City. 3rd and 1.
With everybody spread, it's 3rd and a long one. They've got them in a spread formation.
Montana changes the play. Flag down. 30-second clock. Delay of game.
Oh.
Delay offense.
That drives you nuts, doesn't it?
Oh, he does. And see, they have 4 wide receivers in the ball game on 3rd and 2.
Surprised at the call?
Yeah.
I thought you were.
Well, see, that also surprises the defense because they're thinking of a short yardage defense. And here they come out. They have to audible now to a spread formation defense. Here they are spread out again.
3rd and 7. And now Fred Wyant says timeout Green Bay. Packers call time. They trail by 7. Montana has hit 20 in a row over the last 2 games. We'll be back.
Out.
The stars are gonna twinkle and shine. How they'll shine this evening about 8:45. I know I won't be late, 'cause at 8:30 I'm gonna hurry there. I'll be waiting where
They say time is what you make it. At Citizen, we prefer making it beautiful.
about 8:45.
Citizen.
New Tegrin medicated shampoo with conditioners leaves my hair looking great, and it's tough on dandruff.
And how do you know what tough is?
New Tegrin medicated shampoo with conditioners proves tough can be beautiful.
49ers, after the delay of game and the timeout, face a 3rd and 7 now from the 9-yard line. Thus far, Montana in this game 15 of 15 for a touchdown. 49ers have 3 quarterback sacks, and Green Bay has been held to only 32 yards.
Now, the 49ers can make a first down here because they could end up with goal to go on the 3-yard line. But I'll tell you, this is a tough area in the field to convert a 3rd down and long situation. Really tough.
Jerry Rice goes wide right, very top of your screen. He's caught touchdowns in the last 9 games. Quarterback draw, touchdown. Oh, boy, how do you use the timeout? Put 4 wide receivers in, spread the defense, and then call Montana nifty legs to run it.
You can see that the defense is on an even defense, meaning there's no one on the center's nose. See the center right here, no one on his nose. They got the 4 wide receivers, everybody spread out. He takes the ball, steps back, the guards turn out in their pass set. Whoop, touchdown. Man in motion, that's a no backfield. No back. You've heard of 1 back sets, 2 back sets. That's a no back set.
Bubba Paris looked around for somebody to block. Nobody within 7 yards. Wersching's kick hits the goalpost and bounds back.
You know, the PAT is not automatic. There have been 25 PATs missed in the NFL this year, so it's not automatic.
Watch it again. It hit the upright.
Here it is. He really hooked it. Boom, direct shot.
So it's a 13-0 49er lead.
He's a man of impact. Dexter Manley sparks the skins against the force of Herschel and the Cowboys next Sunday on CBS Sports.
Montana has thrown for 1 and run for 1. The extra point no good, but the 49ers up by 13 at 11:29 mark of the first half of play. Ray Wersching, who had the extra point, hit the left upright. Brent Fullwood is the deep man of 3 for the Green Bay Packers, who have suffered from horrible field position so far. This will be Fullwood at the 12-yard line.
Oh, nice pop in there.
And he's down at the 25. Let's
Really
go back
nice
to the
contact by Brent Jones there.
Go back to the touchdown now and watch this quarterback trap draw.
You'll see right here, Sapulo pull and trap a pass set right here to get the defensive lineman upfield. He will go wall off. He will try to wall off over here. Quarterback draw touchdown. I didn't see Vern the trap block move there. See that? He didn't really need the trap block. They were so far out of it.
Bubba Paris looked like a hitchhiker all alone. And here's Roger Craig, who went in motion, said nice play. Didn't get hit. Nice play. Randy White fakes the reverse and has to scramble. Now he's got some room. "27-yard pickup for the quarterback out of Wisconsin."
Focus your attention in the middle of the screen now as the quarterback runs the fake. All right, Moran, 57, coming out on the boot block right there. Gets Stover, picks him off. Now it's Michael Carter, 95, trying to make the play. And this guy, Wright, is really not known for his running abilities. He really isn't, but he does a good job in this case. First down. One of the few that they've made.
That's the third, as a matter of fact. In '87, he came in with 35 yards. He picked up 27 on that play. Three-step drop. Looks left, fires right. Philip Epps out of bounds at the 41. Well, we mentioned field position, and Bill Walsh stressed how important it would be to his team today. The Packers have had horrible field position. Now look at the 49ers. 4 possessions, and they've started at their own 42. Green Bay with 4 possessions, and they have started on the average from their own 18-yard line.
That's playing on an awful long field.
Yeah, and in contrast,
it's playing on a short field. So far, his game plan is working perfect.
Randy Wright, second down and 2. Clark in motion. Toss to Paul Ott Carruth. Has the first down, fights off a tackle, and picks up an extra 2. Jim Fonhorst, 4-year man from Minnesota, number 55, with the stop. That's the 4th Packer first down.
Jim Fonhorst is playing good football. Both Mike Walters, who's leading the inside linebackers in tackling, leading the whole defense with 64 tackles, they're both playing real well. Fonhorst is a guy that was waived in September and brought back to play. Walters was raised from the Dallas Cowboys, so you can see that the 49er talent department does a real good job of locating guys.
First and 10, Packers, 13-0 the score, 10:25 to go first half. This time it's Jesse Clark. And another modest gain down to the 35-yard line. Keena Turner and Dwayne Board with the tackle.
In running the football, you can't be embarrassed. You can't be embarrassed with a 4-yard gain. Hey, if you got 4 yards, be happy. Keep running it. Keep running it. Don't give up.
Gain 4 3 times. That's first down.
Hey, darn right.
Injured player now for the San Francisco 49ers. Looks like it's Dwayne Board. Despite a 4-6-1 record, Green Bay has gotten off to quick starts this season, particularly in the first quarter, but they trail by 7 today. But look at the problems, Dick, in the third and fourth quarter.
You know what it is? I really think Forrest Gregg is a very good motivator. He's an intense guy. He's a demanding guy. And these kids have lined up and played hard in every ball game. They have a great attitude for a losing football team. But then they run out of emotion. The halftime slows them down. And if something negative happens in the third quarter, they really can't get going again. If something positive would happen for these guys, they could get rejuvenated and get going again. And so far this season, it really hasn't happened for them. They've got to make it happen.
Right now they trail by 13. And they've got a second down and 8.
This would be the second defensive lineman down. Remember, Pete Kugler, number 67, went out of the ball game earlier with a knee strain. This is Dwayne Board, the opposite defensive end, number 76, that's down. And he is really a defensive leader in terms of consistent, intense play.
Watch him at the top of the screen.
Number 76. Now he's on Ken Rutgers, number 75. See, they're working inside out. He's trying to work off the block. Jesse Clark, 33, goes up inside, and it just sort of everybody collapses on him. A big pile of bodies. You really can't see what happened to him, but it doesn't appear to be too serious. You can't afford to lose football players like this, not only from a physical standpoint. This guy is a contributor from the mental attitude standpoint of the game. He is a real tough giver.
So Board is out. Charles Haley will come in and take his spot. Coming up next Sunday on CBS, doubleheader action. Most of you will see Dallas against Washington, others Minnesota against Green Bay at 12:30 Eastern time. And then most of you will watch the Giants at St. Louis. Others will see Atlanta against the Rams. That's a week from today. From the shotgun, Paul Lott Caruth comes right.
They got it walled up.
Fumbles out of bounds. It'll be a first down at the 22-yard line.
They had it walled off from the shotgun. You could see the defense get sealed. You're going to note here, they're in the shotgun. Both guards are going to pull. Notice the big guard here. He's up. He's going to run, kick out. He's going to try to seal it off. Look at them. Both of them coming out there. They get the block right at the point of attack. Hallstrom, number 65, gets a seal right there. Seals him off just for another few yards. First down.
McKyer fought through Hallstrom's initial attempt at a block, but that's a first down. And there is Paul Lott Caruth lined up as a flanker this time. Stanley looks at him. And Randy Wright looks for Stanley. Finds him at the 11-yard line. Another Green Bay first down. Tim McKyer makes the tackle.
Walter Stanley to the left middle of your screen in the slot, using a little bit of the 49er attack. High efficiency, short 9-10-yard hook stuff right there in front of the man-to-man coverage. Tim McKyer comes up and makes the tackle. Hard to stop that stuff without getting help underneath from a linebacker.
Stanley goes wide left. Word from the 49er bench is that Dwayne Board might be back in the game. First and 10, Green Bay trailing 13-0. Hackett in motion. Oh! And Paul Lott Caruth is hit by Farnhorst at the line of scrimmage.
Boy, I'll tell you, when you play nose guard in the National Football League now, you get hit from every angle. In this case, Joey Hackett, number 89, coming in motion, comes in and wham, blocks him. Boy, I'll tell you, that smarts a little bit. Watch this. Bang, right in, and Carter actually played it real well. Farnhorst, number 55, steps up and makes the play, but the nose guard's got to be ready to be hit from every position, every angle.
Well, we have focused on Joe Montana's exploits. As you look at Michael Carter, Randy Wright is 6 out of 8. On 2nd and 10, he'll throw from the shotgun, facing a potential blitz. Randy Wright, that's caught, but it's only a 4-yard gain. It's down to the 7-yard line.
They can make a first down before they score. That really changes your thinking offensively down here. And I don't think you think in terms of field goal. You think in terms of 4 down to score when you're behind 13-0. Playing an explosive offensive football team like the 49ers, you're almost better in this situation to forget field goal.
Offensively now, the Packers have sent in Tom Neville and Alan Weingrad, a couple of offensive linemen.
Better pass protectors. Neville is better pass protector than Moran. Weingrad, rather, a better pass protector than Euchre.
From the shotgun. Flag down. This will be a dead ball foul. Illegal motion against the Packers.
I can't believe it. No wonder that Forrest is so upset about the penalties. How many is that already in the first half?
Start, number 72.
That will be the 3rd that is accepted, but there have been a couple decline.
Yeah, there's got to be at least 5 or 6. Look at Forrest. I tell you, there's one guy I would not want mad at me. He's doing a real good job of holding these guys together. I think in terms of doing what I do for a living now and going into visiting team locker rooms and home team locker rooms, a losing football team, it's the best attitude of a losing football team I've been around. They believe they're going in the right direction. They have confidence in doing it the right way. Then they know where they're going. Good leadership by Forrest Gregg.
That's a nice tribute to Forrest Gregg. Timeout Green Bay, their 2nd timeout. They've got 1 left. Forrest Gregg's team started at their own 24, got a 27-yard run from Randy Wright. Nice run from Paul Lott Caruth and a pass to Walter Stanley. But now, from the 12, they face a 3rd and 11. Shotgun. Wright pulls up, throws it away. He was off balance when he let it go.
Good coverage, too. Good coverage downfield. It was no one obviously open. You can see as you watch all 22 on the screen now, everybody here is covered. Everybody going out for a pass is covered. No one to throw the ball to. Man in motion, shotgun formation, deep snap, good protection. He's allowed to step up inside the rush. There he goes, throws the ball. Everybody's got a man or 2 on him. Good coverage.
Now Packer fans are trembling because Max Zendejas is on to try the field goal, and he had a 1-for-4 day last week against Chicago with 2 officially blocked. 1 he kicked into the rear of one of his linemen.
Yeah, Gopher could have blocked the one they called a block. It was so low.
30-yard field goal.
That looks good.
It is. So Zendejas, who was the star of the replacement games for the Green Bay Packers, is back on track. And the Packers get on the board with 7:10 to go. And it's now a 13-3 deficit, which they face.
I tell you, kicking the ball in the cold weather is not as easy as kicking it in the warm weather. Even from the holder standpoint, accepting the snap from the center, it's tougher. Your hands are cold, the ball appears harder. It's just a little bit more delicate play.
Coming up next week, doubleheader college basketball starts it with Louisville against Kentucky at 1:30 Eastern, and that'll be followed by the NBA game, our first of the season. Houston against the Chicago Bulls, live at 3:30 Eastern time.
You know, I watched the Chicago Bulls work out one day in Chicago. My brother works for the Bulls, and I was really impressed with the coaching job going on in professional basketball. First off, I'd never really watched a pro team work, but I'll tell you, they got after it, and they worked. No wonder they're winning basketball games.
Well, they're off to a great start. Having Michael Jordan in the lineup helps a little bit.
I think I could coach him.
Funny, you were talking about cold weather here. Of course, the most famous game ever played in this stadium was the Ice Bowl game in '67, Dallas and Green Bay. Yesterday, when the 49ers arrived, the traveling party got out on the 1-yard line, the south end of the goal line, of the end zone, and ran through the famous Bart Starr quarterback sneak. Jerry Walker, the PR man, played Bart Starr. Jim Warren, the security man, played Jerry Kramer. And Rodney Knox, the assistant PR guy, was Jethro Pugh. And there's a tackle at the 17.
John Dorsey makes that tackle. You can see many times you can read the attitude of a football team through the execution of their special team. See the enthusiasm, the intensity? This football team has not quit.
Now the 49ers back on the field, and keep in the back of your mind, well, put it in the front of your mind. Joe Montana has hit 20 passes in succession. The end of last game and this one. He's 15 in a row today.
Tight formation with Walsh. Watch out, pass. No, he comes with a run.
Roger Craig.
See how he can run through tackles? You cannot tackle him with your arms because that strong leg action, you've got to get your pads on him.
John Anderson makes the tackle here. Craig is one of the weapons, of course, and Jerry Rice has become the most explosive. So far, he's caught a couple of passes today. He's working on a streak of touchdown passes in the last 9 games. What are the factors, we asked Bill Walsh, that make him so good?
They're just this one of many.
And we'll talk about it after the play. 2nd down and 3. Tom Rathman. Bill Walsh was talking about Jerry Rice yesterday, and these are the factors, he said, that make Jerry Rice a great receiver. First of all, his stamina and his strength.
Yeah, he is a strong wide receiver, no question.
Secondly, he has an efficient running style. No wasted motion.
Very smooth, no wasted motion. Very graceful runner.
And an ability to lean and reach for the ball without losing any speed.
Yeah, it really doesn't, and he can catch it when he reaches.
And number 5 after great hands is Joe Montana. 3rd and 1. Montana is now in the record books.
Ron Heller, number 89, comes up with his 11th catch.
And that puts Joe Montana atop all other quarterbacks in the league. 21 straight. 5 last Sunday night against Cleveland, and 16 in a row today.
Here he is. Remember now, it's 3rd down and 1 yard to go. Tim Harris, 97, flushes him, get him out. Again, a running back trying to cut a linebacker. Heller out there all by himself.
Now Tom Rathman goes around the right side out to the 42-yard line. 13-3 with 6:05 to go first half. Montana threw a touchdown pass to Rathman in the first quarter, then ran for a touchdown on 3rd and 7 from the 11-yard line for the second TD. The extra point no good. The Packers then came back with a field goal drive, and it's now 13-3, and Montana's streak still alive at 21 in a row.
Now Harry Sidney just came in the ball game, number 24. Bill utilizes people, puts them in specific spots, and many times then highlights them when they're in that position in the formation. Here he is as a blocker.
Roger Craig to the 40-yard line. Well, they're going to put him out of bounds at the 43.
Harry Sidney was set in for one purpose. You go in here and you get the block at the point of attack as we try to get outside with the toss. Here he is. Follow his block now. Collie pulling, turning up inside. Good kick out on Mark Lee. Oh, he grabs with his left hand. Oh, and great running by Roger Craig.
That's a gain of 16 at the 42.
Doesn't take
first
long
down.
those young guys to learn to reach and grab with their hands, does it?
Sidney stays in, replacing Rathman. First and 10. 49ers lead 13-3. Harry Sidney loses yardage.
Good defense by Tim Harris again. 97, the outside linebacker.
5:17 to go before a sellout crowd at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And this sellout crowd of 50,000 plus has watched the Packers fall behind as Joe Montana threw a touchdown toss to Tom Rathman in the opening quarter, scored on a 7-yard touchdown run in the second. And then the Packers came back after the missed extra point to score a 30-yard field goal. It's 13-3. Montana. Got it. John Taylor again. And the streak is now at 22 after the 33-yard gain.
Play action pass on second and long just to hold linebackers, isolate people. Now to the right of your screen, you're going to see the ball thrown right where it has to be thrown, high into the outside with inside coverage. Ball coming down, see it is high into the outside. John Taylor working on Mark Lee. Fine play. And now John Taylor, they say, is a fine runner with the ball after he catches it as well. Will be a punt returner when they gain more confidence in his ability to field the punt consistently.
First and 10, 49ers. Roger Craig gets a good block from Sidney, and the hit from behind and tripped up. Brian Noble, the linebacker, number 91, caught up with him.
Brian Noble is having success running through as the 49ers pull their offensive linemen. He's running through, getting penetration, and making the play from behind. Now, he leads the team on tackles with 60 tackles coming into this ball game. I was talking to him in the locker room yesterday. I said, will your parents get to see this game? He says, Coach, we have a dish. We have a dish. My parents see every game. He lives in Huntington Beach.
Second down. And 10 officially. Montana. Down at the 8-yard line. Johnny Holland makes the tackle this time. Good defensive coverage in the end zone.
It was. You know what happens when he starts running? He was waiting for a defender to come off the coverage, but the coverage was good. They maintained their discipline. Drop back pass. Now he's looking to his left. He wanted to go down the hole. See, there's Roger Craig. Now watch him back up inside. Now he back up inside. He's waiting for a defender to come out of the coverage. Look at Rice. He's giving, hey, here I am. Oh, no, Dave Brown, he's the experienced guy, 13 years in the league. He's intercepted 52 balls. He wants another shot. Montana too smart to give it to him.
Timeout has been called by the 49ers to discuss this 3rd and 7 play. So Montana heads over to talk with Bill Walsh. Coming up at halftime, we'll have Brandon Irv with scores and highlights of other NFL games on this first weekend in December. They'll also be talking to Mike Ditka and Jerry Burns about tonight's game. That's coming up at halftime. I hope all of you got a chance to see Mike Ditka roller skating through the Bears offices. That's one of the funnier things I've seen this year.
Doesn't that all stem from a comment that Ditka made about playing under the dome ceilings?
Yeah, he called the Metrodome the roller dome. Said the only thing domes are good for are roller skates. So Mike Lynn sent him a pair of roller skates that they trained cross-country skiers on.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, I wouldn't do anything to ruffle the feathers of the Minnesota Vikings. They are a fine football team and capable of beating the Bears.
Chicago currently has a 2-game edge over Minnesota, and they play tonight. Green Bay trails 4-6-1, followed by Tampa Bay and Detroit.
You know, the Bears, though, are maybe not as dominating defensively as they were when they were world champions, but I'll tell you, they sure look good when you watch them play.
So do the guys in white here. 3rd and 8. They lead it 13-3. Montana lofts it deep, and the streak is ended. And it ends at 22 consecutive passes. And Joe Montana is now a porous 17 of 18.
Jerry Rice, again, lined up in a different position, wing back to the tight end side of the formation. Man in motion working outside. They wanted to get to him. He gets worked over there by the linebacker, 59, John Anderson. Now he's working back underneath Mark Lee, 22, who actually falls down. Tim Harris works over, and he is a giant linebacker at about 6'6".
That brings on Ray Wershing, a 25-yard field goal.
He is 88%, I think, in his career, 89% in his career from here.
And he's now a perfect 4 of 4 for this season.
He misses very few inside the 40. In fact, in his entire career of 15 years, he's 80% inside the 40-yard line. Very efficient.
25-yard field goal extends the lead back to 13 now at 16-3. 3.5 to go in the first half. The 49ers, of course, won the Super Bowl, and they were 8-3 in '81 after 11 games. Finished at 13-3. In '84, they won it again. They had a 10-1 mark at this spot then. Finished at 15-1 and went on to win it. Now they're 9-2. And in their favor, Dick, first of all, a great tradition of winning since '81, tradition being 6 years old in December, and also the fact that they've got their final 3 games at home. They face Chicago next week, then Atlanta comes to San Francisco, and they wind up at home against the Rams.
The Chicago 49er battle will be a classic.
17-3 in December since '81 when they won their first Super Bowl under Bill Walsh. You know, it strikes me this season that there is no dominant team. I don't know whether that's the malaise of the strike or whatever, but these guys have certainly got to be a candidate for Super Bowl contenders.
The Cowboys were always given credit for being the finesse football team in the NFL, but really the 49ers have taken that. They really finesse you. And
ball returned to the 25.
The opposite of that of the Bears. The Bears just beat you up physically, you know. I mean, and they've stayed with that tradition, a reflection of their coaching staff and the intenseness of Mike Ditka.
Cowboys have scored now and trail Atlanta by 4 in the second quarter, and St. Louis also scored. They trail the Redskins. Cincinnati on top of the hapless Kansas City Chiefs. Seattle leads Pittsburgh at the half, and Indianapolis over Cleveland. Detroit leads the Rams in the second quarter. First and 10, Green Bay. They trail 16-3. 3 wide receiver set. They go from the shotgun.
High snap.
Paul Ott-Caruth on the draw play. Ronnie Lott hauls him down, but not until he gets to the 48-yard line, a 23-yard gain.
Shotgun formation, running back number 30 set to the middle of your screen. Paul Ott-Caruth, high snap, not too high. He gets it, there it is. He gets underneath Todd Shell, number 90, moves. He's up running straight at. Now he's moving into Lott.
That pass into the flat. And they're going without the huddle. Walter Stanley makes the grab. And Randy Wright has already called another play.
What Randy Wright is signaling was to his right there. He was signaling the strength of his formation. He wanted his 2 wide receivers to the right side of the formation.
And this prevents Bill Walsh from making defensive changes when they go without the huddle.
Well, they've got 4 down linemen in there already, so they're all right.
Into the flat, Jesse Clark. Around the corner, first down at the 40.
Clock has stopped. Now they can huddle up.
Clock stops at the 2:21 mark. A little bit of a surprise to go to the hurry up with 3 minutes to go.
I think it's a good offensive move. You're down 16-3. Get after them.
First and 10 now at the 40. 16-3. San Francisco leads it. Stanley goes wide left.
49ers have their pass rushing defensive ends in there, and Haley 94 and Roberts 91.
See if they're disguising a blitz or they're coming. They are not. They're sending 4. Right, clock, 33-yard line. 2:15 to go before halftime, and again they go without the huddle as Philip Epps makes that grab. See if they can get the play call before the 2-minute warning. Apparently they will.
Haley back up inside, faking the blitz.
4-man rush, man open. Oh, terrific grab.
I think he's in.
Philip Epps, nice tap dance on the sideline.
Philip Epps worked in between the short zone and the deep zone in the coverage. Now, here's a guy that did not practice all week. He's out. He had an abdominal muscle pull, which is really tough to overcome. The little guy fought back, got treatment all week from the fine medical staff here. Here he is in between the deep zone and the short zone. First down. Here he is watching both feet in the ground. Right foot, left foot, both in bounds.
2-minute warning at 1:57 to go. First and 10, Green Bay, 1:57 to go. They've got the ball at the 49er 20-yard line. 3 wide receivers to the right. They lob it short to Jesse Clark, and he's out of bounds at the 17-yard line, a gain of 4. As Forrest Gregg went to his 2-minute offense at the 3:30 mark of the first half.
They have 3 wide receivers set down to the bottom of your screen here in a trips formation. Neal now is going to shorten that defense up by moving inside. Now they're going to come from the inside out with a 4th receiver. Hear him line out. See, they're trying to run anybody out of there in that man-to-man coverage and create a soft corner.
Clock stopped on the out-of-bounds play. 1:52 to go in the half. Packers have 1 timeout left. Again, they threaten the dog and sending 5 this time, or 4 again. And Frankie Neal makes the catch and is out of bounds at the 15. That's a gain of 2. It'll bring up a 3rd and 5.
This would be a big lift for the Packers if they could get 7 points out of this field position right now. Big lift for them going into halftime. Come back at second half, that's assuming they make the extra point at 10-16. That'd be a big lift for them.
Both quarterbacks with a hot hand in the first half. Montana has missed 1. Randy Wright has missed only 3. 3rd and 5 from the 15. 2 receivers left, 2 right. Again, a 4-man rush. And they get him. Charles Haley gets the sack at the 22. That is the 4th sack of the first half. For a 49er team that came in with only 14 quarterback sacks in the 8 regular games.
I really think the big offensive tackle in this case was laid off the snap, and Haley ran right around him. I don't think it was a physical breakdown. I think he just didn't hear the snap. You'll see Rutgers number 70. He's still in a 2-point stand just sitting there, and Haley ran right by him. He gets credit for a sack.
Never moved.
He missed the snap count.
Zendejas will try a 40-yard field goal. He's hit from 30 earlier.
He's 5 for 6 this year from this distance.
Don Bracken is the holder, the punter. Flag is down. Flag is down in the end zone. That's a delay of game. They'll have tack on 5 yards.
No play.
When you add 5 yards to a field goal, when you go from 40 to 45, you're cutting your efficiency down about 15%.
That much?
At least. Especially for a young kicker in the cold weather.
Who came from Arizona.
That's right. And from the Washington Redskins.
That's right. And the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Zendejas was a draft choice of the Cowboys last year and lost his job to Rafael Septien. Wound up going to the Redskins, where he had some real problems and was cut. And then came on to replace Al Del Greco here during the replacement games. And then 2 weeks ago, they cut Del Greco when Zendejas had gone 10 for 10. But last week, 1 for 4 with 2 blocks. Now from 45 yards out. Problem.
That's a heck of a kick. Kickers drive coaches crazy. They really do, Vernon.
Are you telling me that you used to have a couple of problems with Tony Franklin?
Or punters and kickers. The most sane punter I've ever been around is Max Runniger, who is now punting for the 49ers and doing a good job. Not spectacular, but he's not a sight case. You know?
Well, this time Zendejas got it. Tim McKyer comes over the top and almost got there. He's coming around.
Watch him reach out now. Watch him reach. Oh, out there, but it's underneath. Good protection all the way. Now Zendejas, he knows it's in there. Look at this. Those kickers, they develop those moves. That's a physical move for a kicker.
68 seconds to go. Go back now, Dick, to the third down play when Ken Rutgers missed the snap count.
I haven't seen this in a long time. You're going to see the big offensive tackle right here. The ball is snapped. Haley goes around him. He doesn't even move. Very unique. Whoop, hey!
Boy,
Horace Gregg sees that in Monday film studies. You think he's going to be upset?
somebody was thinking about Christmas. Squib kick, taken short, bobbled short. Harry Sidney has it. And he's not going to get very far to the 22-yard line.
Look at the intensity in that kickoff coverage.
16-6 now with 62 seconds to go first half, and Montana comes back on. Thrown for one and scored one.
You know, Walsh's basic philosophy of offense almost stops him from saying 16-6, I'll run 3 plays, eat up the clock, and go on. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him go right into an offense and try to get 3 points to 6 points on the board within this situation.
Well, they've got a first down at the 22. And again, the place is full, as it is every time the Packers play here. Montana. Caught by, bobbled by Jerry Rice.
See what I mean?
Yep.
He won't sit on a lead and just assume that, hey, we've got the lead, we'll make sure nothing negative happens. He thinks positively in regard to the execution of his offense. A lot of guys would be scared to death to throw that pass in this situation. Here's Rice going out of bounds, right corner of your screen. Almost. See that lean and reach? Normally he catches that football.
And just missed dragging his left foot down. Here's Montana back. He'll be sacked. Ezra Johnson, who has been out with an injury.
Ezra Johnson, he knows where the quarterback is. He sacked the quarterback in his career 84 times. He was talking to me in the locker the other day. He has an 8-month-old baby girl, and she has become the sacker in his house. She's the boss.
Timeout has been called by the Packers. That is their final timeout, but it's third down for the 49ers when we come back. 53 seconds to go before the halftime break. The 49ers up 16-6, but facing a 3rd and 17 right now.
Now you're liable to see some kind of trap play up inside that, you know, the down 4 of Green Bay coming after him on with the rush and that kind of thing. Try to trap one of those guys and break a run up inside and punt the football if you don't make it.
Packers call timeout in hopes of getting the ball back and particularly forcing an incomplete pass here. Now they keep it. Rathman, how about this?
Is he tough?
To the 50-yard line on the trap play, a 35-yard gain, and now the 49ers will call time. Oh, the shifting fortunes, huh? 3rd and 17, they call the trap. Bill Walsh crosses them up, and now they are in potential scoring range.
Bruce Colley, the big offensive lineman, is going to pull over in here. He gets the bin block right here. The ball's handed up inside in front of the quarterback. Bin block is back blocking in the middle there, right there. See, now the guard turned up inside. Colley does. Poor tackle by the linebacker, John Anderson. He should make that tackle. Here's Ezra Johnson, 90, chasing him. And watch him butt this guy right here. Boom! That's the longest run of his career. The longest run coming in was 29 yards. How long was that one?
35.
35. And that's what sometimes distorts evaluating a defense. That's like a prevent type defense. The running back gets the long run against it. If I were a running back, I'd want the coach to let me run in this environment. Let me run in that situation, because your chances of getting the good run are better.
So by crossing up the Packer defense, a 35-yard run, and now the 49ers have a first down at the 50. 1 timeout left and 42 seconds to go before halftime. 4 wide receiver set. Montana with a 3-step drop, throws it short. Jerry Rice down at the 44. And they will not use the timeout on this play, as Montana's directing traffic already, and the clock running at 28 seconds to go. Right flat, incomplete.
Oh, Bubba and Ezra, they're having little fisticuffs back there.
I saw that too.
They had pretty good form, huh? Left hook, right cross.
Big Bubba Paris.
Big Bubba. He's a character. 6 children that guy has. That's a heck of a family to feed playing offensive tackle.
They promised to pay him a $50,000 bonus if he would meet the weigh-in under 300 pounds last year. He developed a technique of coming in and leaning on the wall and reducing his weight. And finally, they realized what he was doing. They moved the scale, and poor Bubba didn't make weight and lost a bonus payment.
Look at that good shoulder down. Look, see that? Good body tilt.
And now timeout is called with Rathman and Tiger Green getting into both a verbal war and a physical war.
You know, the Green Bay Packers are used to playing the Bears. They're used to being in a physical game, and they won't back down from anybody.
Well, not with Forrest Gregg as the leader. What a tribute that Lombardi said of him. He's the best football player he ever coached.
That other guy standing there was just in front of him now. In fact, the guy standing to the left is the guy that made the chili for us yesterday. See the guy right there to the left corner of your screen? That guy, his wife, makes the greatest chili, right?
I'm still paying for it.
Are you really? Well, it's an open booth.
Forrest Gregg played most of his career here, of course. And look at the Hall of Famers under Lombardi. Taylor, Gregg, Starr, Nitschke, Adderley, Ringo, Davis, and Horning. And you know every one of them, I think you said. You've met them all?
I've met them all. Yeah, that's exciting. But Forrest Gregg is maybe the most intense. Well, you have to say Ray Nitschke was an intense guy.
14 seconds to go before halftime. First down. John Taylor.
Clock is running.
Mark Lee made the tackle. May not do it.
No, they're not going to get it out.
Nope.
They're not going to get it out.
See, Montana will
Montana
argue.
Thought they were out of bounds. See, he's arguing right now.
So that's the end of the first half with our score. The 49ers 16 and the Green Bay Packers 6.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. Hewlett-Packard, computer solutions from the people who never stop asking, what if? And by Metaprin, when your body hasn't got time for the pain. Metaprin.